Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Both Sides of the Fence. I'm Jen, your co-host. And before we get started with anything, we want to give a shout out to Lenny and Lanny McAllister. Lenny joined us as our guest last episode, and they are the proud grandma and grandpa of a brand new baby boy named Ace. Mom and baby are doing well, so we wanted to give them a quick shout out. Our prayers and thoughts have been with you guys. We're super excited for you.
Yes, and I'm super excited, too, to say congratulations. The baby was absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
And it was such a quick turnaround for this unexpected moment, but it turned out amazing. So congratulations again, guys, to you and your family. And again, don't forget to follow Lenny McAllister and his book coming out in August and all the updates for that. And hopefully we'll have him back on there to discuss those things. So again, congratulations, and thank you so much for being on, buddy.
So today I'm very excited about this episode. It's been a long time in the works, and we are joined by Derek's parents, Billy and Gail, as they celebrate their son during Pride Month and share their family's journey. Together, they discuss the challenges they faced following Derek's childhood sexual assault and later his decision to come out. They reflect on how they navigated difficult times as a family, the lessons they learned along the way, and the strength they found in supporting one another. By sharing their story, they hope to offer encouragement, understanding, and hope to other families who may be facing similar struggles on their own path.
Mm-hmm.
I've really been looking forward to meeting you guys.
Yeah, she has for a while. She's been saying
absolutely.
I've
heard loads about you for years, and then we recently became friends on Facebook, so you see a little bit into people's lives, but I've been telling Derek for a long time. I was really excited to have you both here.
Oh, we're excited too.
Thanks for coming.
And just it's and again, how many times I have said to you how big of a deal this is, because my family and like yours, we come from a time of privacy, and what happens in your family kind of stays in that privacy moment because that's how we were raised then. So for them to do this is thank you. It's a, not just for me, but I just think it's a huge deal for them. So you guys should be proud of yourselves.
You're welcome.
I'm proud of all of you. But
and
before we get in,
help people.
Yes. Yeah, that is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we get into that, I want to hear a little bit about before all of this kind of stuff happened within the family. Tell us a little bit about Derek as a young boy and your kind of family dynamic.
Dad, you want to tell a story? You got a couple, and then Mom can.
There's a lot of stories about Derek before all this happened. One of them was that he had a fixed station with tractors, and we had a modified race car, and he would bug me all the time. So I found a tractor, took the blades off, give him a gallon of gas, and he'd stay out of my hair for about 3 hours. But his mother was totally against this because he was 3 or 4 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived on the property of her mother that had a back house that had big pillars. Well, I come out of the garage, and Derek come down the sidewalk, hit the pillars. Instead of the tractor stopping, it climbed the pillars. It flipped over, and Derek's on the ground. I'm running to him, and he looks at me and goes, "Wow." And out of the corner of my eye, I watched his mother come out of the house. And I was like, "Listen, dude, you better start crying right now because we're in trouble."
You are so lucky.
Yeah.
That was the end of the tractor.
Okay.
And I was,
Wait, is that when Mom was like, no more? Done?
Yeah, she put her foot down.
Was the tractor still usable after that?
Oh, yeah, you could use it.
He did.
But I
He
had
took
my
the blades
dad
off.
and my Uncle Mike that could like take shrapnel and turn it into something that moved with wheels. So I mean, to me, I didn't think about that. I was just the meathead that did crazy fun things.
That's funny.
And another story is he calls him Uncle Mike. He is my best friend. And Mike would mess with him all the time. So one day I come down to the race car garage, and Derek comes out the man door, and he was hell-bent for leather. He was moving. And I'm like, that's odd. I opened the door, and the car's sitting there in the garage like normal. Then I heard this voice. He said, "Borg, is that you?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's to get this effing car off me." He jacked the car up to do adjustments, and Derek come in stood at the back bumper, looked at him when there was a car, and said, "Uncle Mike." He says, "What?" He said, "He delivers a jack on me." I said, "Oh, that's why he was running."
I would imagine. Isn't it funny how things have changed, though? Like, kids were kids, and they did real stuff. I mean, I did exactly the same. I mean, I don't know how we all survived to adulthood when I look back.
Yeah.
Like, in our childhoods, it's definitely different now.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No, it definitely is different.
The things that entertained us were not what these kids are entertained by now.
No,
100%.
definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah,
I mean,
not at all.
Derek was full of wind, piss, and excitement. I mean, he really was.
So not much has changed, really.
That part,
No,
for
no,
sure.
that
I've
changed,
always
but
been
he was-
bright and bold, and just my personality has always been.
He was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, he was crazy, like not crazy, but he was a
A
crazy
yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
And
Dad said I was a meathead. That's what he used to call me. I was a meathead.
And Billy always said that he was going to be his race car driver, sprint car driver, is what Derek was going to end up being. And but he was always getting into something and moving and grooving. And he split his face open, his eye open. It was on Billy's birthday.
That's a good birthday present.
Yeah. And so he was tough. But Billy would always tell the boys that, listen,
Oh, this is a good one.
if you're not bleeding, you're not hurt. Or, if you're not bleeding, you're not hurt.
Yeah.
Don't cry.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so he did. He busted his eye open. He fell and he hit his face on our deck. And so he went in to Billy and he was holding his eye. I mean, you probably do this better, but he was holding his eye and he said, Dad, I'm blooding. Can I cry now?
True.
And didn't I feel like a couple towels or something like
your
that? It was
face will
pretty,
bleed.
it was
Yeah,
pretty
it could
crazy.
Yeah,
Anywhere.
It was.
Yeah.
And so our doctor that we had was uptown. And so just 2 blocks away. So we took him up there. And he flirted with girls all the time. All the time. And
I mean, I still do
Yes.
when I want to
Yeah.
get something.
Yeah.
I know how to.
Yeah. Well, there was the nurse. She was blonde, and I can remember. And Derek was laying on the table, and he told her that you're so pretty. And crazy that I became a nurse too, because I almost passed out because of the blood.
Oh my gosh. I think it's different when it's your kid.
That's what she
It's
says
other
now
people.
because I've asked her.
I've had
like,
that experience with
I've asked her in the
Yeah.
moment about it, and she said it's different when I'm in on site.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So whenever they had to give me the smelling salts, and the doctor made me leave because I was going out. And that was like he was okay. Uncle Mike, they used to go cruising. Let's go drink a beer. Let's go cruising, drink a beer, and pick up chicks.
What was that white car he had? The white car he had, Dad, because I used to love looking out his back window because he had like these little shades that went up the window. It was like a sports
I know
car.
what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. But that's what he'd say.
So
We
you
go
could
to
see
beer
people, but they
distributor.
couldn't see you.
I used to go to Viola's, right? The liquor store with Dad, and I'd get free candy bars. I would pull them and they'd be like, "Oh, you have the most beautiful eyes," and then I knew instantly.
Yeah.
That is my way in.
Funnily enough, my friend Stephanie, I'm going to embarrass you now, Stephanie. After our first episode was like, he has the most gorgeous eyes. I'm like, Stephanie, he's gay. She's like, gosh darn it. They're all the good ones are gay. I was like, I'm sorry.
That's what I've always told him too.
But it was like that I remember him, he would just chuckle and laugh like, this is ridiculous,
man.
you know?
Yeah.
So he was boisterous and charming and full of life from a very young age, right?
Yeah.
He was a towhead, blonde as blonde could be. He had a rat tail like he did. He had back in it. Can you remember back in the time where it was like he had this long rat tail?
You were so proud of that.
Oh yeah.
I thought you tell the story. So real quick, because I know it's long, but I mean, you tell the story like you would have killed because that was Uncle Uncle Herc.
Yeah, and
because he cut
he
it off.
that was about that was I was wanting to headhunt that day.
I don't think I got that upset about it, though, did I?
No, of course
You
not,
were-
because you were you, and
not
I was
much-
the one that got worked up about it.
Not much
And-
has changed.
Yeah.
And now it's mullets. They even have the competitions at the state fair for
Yeah.
these.
Yes, now they're
Yeah,
coming
right.
back.
So,
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
they are.
Yes, you were
Same
so
thing.
right, Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's
they
a lot
are.
of moms that'd be pretty mad if that
Yeah.
mullet disappeared
Oh,
from that
okay.
child before the
Yeah.
state fair.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny how
same
it
thing.
definitely
Yeah.
is coming back. It is
So
funny,
no, it
but,
was.
yeah.
I still remember coming out of the garage on my my trike.
Mhm.
What was that? My 5th birthday? Was that my 5th birthday?
I can't.
It was the same summer we went to the park. I remember that.
When you puked on
Oh, when you puked.
Oh, what? It was bad. It was. Wait, I think what did I do? Like wake up and just say,
He
"Dad."
was sick.
Yeah.
He's laying on my chest.
Jog
He was
a leg.
laying at the camp.
Geauga Lake. That's where we were at.
Yeah,
Up and
Jog a
went,
leg.
Dad, and went,
oh, no.
I'm laying down, so I can't do anything. To do.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was bad. But
Yeah.
you guys had got me a tricycle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the battery operated tricycles, and I
Yeah.
remember we had the sidewalk in the garage or the shed,
Mm-hmm.
and I came out of
Yeah.
the shed on it. I
Okay.
remember that for my birthday.
Yeah.
So obviously-
I forget that one, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you did so many things.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So
go ahead,
many.
Jen.
I love it. So obviously you guys were a really close family. I
Mhm.
can tell from your
Mhm.
stories
Yeah.
and I can tell from your remembrances of Derek. There's a lot of love there. But obviously, like every family goes through things, right? We all
Mhm.
have our trials and tribulations. But you guys had a specific experience that your family went through. And can you tell me a little bit about that experience and what it was like for your family?
No boy.
Do you kind of want to go back to when it started and how it happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to
I
a
guess
point
that'd
to
be the
where-
best way to explain.
what I mean by how it started,
Yeah.
life was so normal until it wasn't, and that's how
Yeah.
quick
yeah.
things like this do change a family, literally in
Sure.
seconds.
Yeah.
Because right before it came out, and I want you guys to lead that for the story because I was so
Yeah.
young, but I think the night before, you were at a race, if I remember right,
Yeah, probably.
It was.
or within that time. That's what I mean. We were
Normal
racing,
family
enjoying
stuff.
family. My dad was
Yeah.
sneaking us boys in the pits. I mean,
Yeah.
so we could be with the family.
Yeah,
it was
'cause that
our.
the
We were
other
just
thing, the race car.
a
yeah.
normal family until it wasn't. So
Yeah.
why don't you and Dad kind of start it
Yeah.
as soon as it wasn't that day?
Well, it was Memorial Day, and it was 1992. That I was folding clothes. I was sitting in the living room folding clothes. And Savannah was a baby, and
Which is my sister for
Yeah,
everybody.
the
that
sister.
may not know.
and TJ, his older brother, had come out and he had said, "Tell Mom what you told me." And Derek was like, "No,
Derek, how old were you at this time?
4,
No, well, no, you
just about to be 4.
you would have turned. You were 4, turning 5 that summer that the assault took place. And then you would have been 5 whenever you told
Memorial Day,
us.
yeah.
Okay, so 5.
And then you turned 6 in July. So you were still 5 years old whenever that happened. I mean, whenever you told us.
Yeah.
So many months had gone by from the time that it happened that we didn't know. Anyway, so TJ said, "Tell Mom what you just told me." And he was like, "No, I don't want to." And, of course, I'm folding clothes and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on? You
Yeah.
know? And
Something silly from
What
boys.
crazy
Yeah.
did you do now? You
Yeah.
know? And he said, "No, tell Mom what you told me." And so that was the point that he had said about Chris, which was my nephew, my sister's son. And that he had stayed with us the summer before my sister and her husband were getting divorced. So Billy and I were very close to her 6 children that she had to her husband at the time. And so whenever her and her husband were separated and they were going to get divorced, the kids were having a hard time,
Sure.
with it. And so Christopher came to stay with us during the summer, and he went to work with Billy. So he wanted to get a car. And so, okay, you can come get away from the house. You can stay with us, go to work with Billy. And that's what he did. And we made him pay us, I think it was $40, $40
40,
out
30
of his
bucks.
pay every week.
That's good for kids to learn that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but what we
$40
did,
for rent. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, but what we did is because we love Chris, we would we put that money aside every week,
Oh.
and at the end of the summer, we gave it back to him because he wanted to buy a car. So
You were helping him save.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and he didn't know it though.
Yeah.
he just didn't know what.
Well,
we were
he thought he was doing what you're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that idea.
Yeah, exactly. During that summer that Chris was with us, Derek, he would go past Chris for no reason at all and just clock him. You know, I mean, for no reason. I mean, Chris would be sitting there not doing anything, and Derek would hit him or do something.
Mhm.
And, well, of course, it was, what are you doing? That's not acceptable. You don't do that.
Sure.
And he would get punished.
But you had no
because we had
idea.
to teach him.
well, yeah.
Yeah, we had no idea.
I hadn't even, it hadn't
No
even
idea.
come out yet.
No idea.
This is like precursor to before it
Yeah,
came out,
sure.
just to give the backstory.
This
of,
is whenever it was happening.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so
At both locations too. So what they didn't even
Dad
realize.
can talk about
later
that part.
a story.
But so whenever he would do something like that, we would correct them
Mm-hmm.
and get in the corner, stand, and
Normal kid, normal way that you
Oh, yeah.
got punished.
I
like
walked stairs.
Yeah.
Lots of stairs.
Yeah.
many different
Yeah.
ways.
Yes.
that-
Oh yeah. And so and he never told us.
Mhm.
He never said a word, what was going on. He started having nightmares. He started they're night terrors, actually.
Yeah.
And he started wetting the bed. And he had been fully potty trained for a good 2 years, 2.5
Which,
years.
if you listen to any story of children in distress, that's a very
almost
common
automatic.
indicator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you don't know at the time.
No, we didn't.
And then,
because we were
and I want
young.
to keep remembering, and me and Jen have talked about this real quick. So
Okay,
hold your
that's
thought.
okay.
Is I want people to remember and keep remembering the year 1992.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear this whole story, and there's going to be moments where you're going to be horrified at the experience because you
Mhm.
now know that would never happen. But back then, tools were so different than the
Yeah.
tools and education that we have now. And because of
Yeah.
that, it was heartbreaking for you two because
Mhm.
now as I've grown up and I
Yeah.
look back even at the story of that moment, it's
Yeah.
like you would have had such a different journey now.
Oh, yeah.
And the journey and the path for everything that we're
Sure.
discussing today.
Mhm.
So it's just crazy to look back and see how minimal the help was
Yeah.
and the understanding
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah. So he had told me that Chris had touched him. And it was like, what? And he's like, Chris touched him. And he touched Chris. And I was like, wait, what? And he said it again. I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And you're lying.
Mhm.
And that was the natural, like,
I think disbelief
denial
probably or
and,
something.
that shock and disbelief of, no, that's not true. I mean,
Mhm.
that's my nephew. He loves us. We love
Yeah.
him,
It's okay, Ma.
I'm sorry. I just feel like it was yesterday.
I'm sure.
Anyway, so I said, okay. I said, well, let's go talk to your dad,
Mhm.
and tell your dad what you just said.
Now, Derek, do you remember during this? Were you scared? Were you?
I remember bits and
relieved?
pieces. And it's funny that you have this follow-up question because what you were saying, I was thinking to myself, it's crazy because at 4.5 of 5 years
Mhm.
of age, you even come out of that. There were things that were coming out as this went on that I continued to slowly trust to tell that we were happening. It wasn't just touching. There
Yeah.
was more things that had
yeah.
happened, deeper things, more sexualized
Sure,
things.
but you'd have the strength to at
even
least
at
tell
5, think
that.
about that. Our bodies, even at 5 years old, I held back so much when I first came out because a part of my body was like, just in case. I didn't know what the thought of, I didn't process, I'm not going to be believed or understood. And that was not what happened with them at all. But I was believed. But even the shock factor at 5, it's amazing how our bodies start going into protective mode that I couldn't even tell my mom. Why couldn't I in that moment have screamed it all out, every detail that happened, right? And it's because I was so scared. What happened was so painful and so scary for me that I couldn't even trust to tell my parents.
Yeah.
Well, also,
And there was threats, but still.
Chris had threatened that.
But the fact that in my 5-year-old mind that I was so scared that I believed if I told my parents, they couldn't even protect me.
Sure.
Do you get my point? So
I do.
that led me to not even being able to trust them enough to tell them. And I was 5.
Yeah.
You know?
Because Chris had also threatened him, that he would kill me.
Taking away the thing that's probably most important
fear.
to him at that
yeah,
time,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Is his mom.
and kill your dad, kill your mom, your family, your sister, your
and my dad.
baby sister.
Because again, we're going to get in later to a time in my life where me and my dad's relationship was nothing like it was when I was a kid. And then we obviously navigated around that. But with my dad, I would say in some ways I was equally with both of them. My love was split and hard for the both. My relationship with my dad was absolutely everything. I was his right hand in every single moment of his life. And my mom, I was her soft, funny boy.
Yeah.
So
baby boy.
again, in that moment when I first told them, it's weird. I actually am vivid. You'll see that I have a pretty vivid memory from everything except for the empty space between when I came out to when the lady came with the dolls. And they'll get into that part later. But that whole part in between, I don't actually remember. I do not remember telling my mom and dad the story. I just remember TJ, me waking up, and I remember being in somewhat of a daydream. And I think I was dreaming out loud, and TJ heard me. Then asked me, woke me up, and I repeated it. That I remember. That's when we came out. I completely have blanked out the actual conversation with my mom.
That your body probably went into self-protection mode because you were so scared of what was happening then that you almost blank out, right? That's what our bodies and brains do.
Yeah, for sure.
So you went and you then told Bill.
He was out working in the garage.
I was loading the trailers.
Yeah, and so because we were going to be going racing, that was what we did, and the boys went racing. He would be underneath the car, and they were changing the rear end. He was Billy's, like, his little buddy.
Yeah.
He was Mikey's little buddy.
Yeah, we took him. We went to get parts. We took him.
Yeah. Oh, he drove the race trailer.
I remember
home
that.
one night. We were on the highway coming home, and
again,
Billy
things you could do
driving.
back in 1992. Okay,
And,
He was 73 foot long.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, and he sat on Billy's lap, and that's what
remember
he was his
that,
little
yeah.
buddy. So anyway, so we went out, and then you can go from there.
And they told me, and I didn't believe it. I was like, just Derek being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then more time you thought about it, and more time it's starting to sink in, because then you start remembering things.
Sure.
And I remember one time they were down Chris's house, and he lived in the basement, and I went to get Derek, and they said, oh, they're down there taking naps. Him and his other cousin, Mackenzie, was just around Derek's age. Well, I went to open the door, it was locked.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought about it at the time, but when that came out,
Sure.
and I remember I had to beat on the door, and Chris came on. I said, what's going on? He goes, oh, I'm just trying to keep everybody out of here because they're sleeping. But you never would think about that.
You would never. It would
No.
never.
No.
Dad,
that trust.
knowing when it all came out, Was there ever a moment you remember that your mind and heart took you to that door moment?
Yeah.
And did you beat yourself up for that? Do you feel?
You always beat
Even though you
yourself up.
did nothing wrong,
Yeah.
though, you still.
Yeah,
They
you
were
always-
talking about flashbacks before I had come out.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you remember times where your brain literally went like you relived that door moment
Oh yeah.
as
and
if
it's
you
like,
knew
yeah.
what was happening
And
now?
it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't I know? Why didn't I question that?
But how would you know?
Yeah,
Honest to
but
goodness.
I just
like-
want people to know that are out there that when you feel the guilt, it's real because
Yeah.
we know he did nothing wrong in that
Yeah.
moment. But to go back and relive that as a parent because you love your child, that you feel I'm a horrible person when you're not at all,
Absolutely.
right? And it's those moments how I just feel that is the lifelong journey, Jen, of constantly having to keep those memories
Sure.
in that
Because you're
in
not.
there.
It's almost like.
And the hot tub. And that's where the hot tub came up because Dad didn't do that. I said, Dad, that room experience isn't where it started. It started in the hot tub. And then he would get us naked in the hot tub and then we'd be moved into the bedroom from there. And Mackenzie was my cousin. So half of what I call sessions, it's the only thing I can think of, would be with me and my cousin,
Oh, really?
Mackenzie. So there was 2 being molested simultaneously. And then Christopher would make both of us interact with each other in that space. So that was some of the more extreme because I feel like my mom and dad also had to deal with how was that happening in that home without
Well,
anybody being
that-
around.
With that, the house was in a huge disarray because of the separation
Sure.
and the kids and
A lot of
my
turmoil
sister had
in
a lot
that.
of health issues. And Billy and I were there a lot. You
A
know,
lot, helping, trying to rebuild the
taking with
home.
the kids
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
Sure.
cleaning up.
The house was a mess.
It was a mess. I mean,
We took like 3 truckloads of garbage out
Oh
there.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
we were there, and I would have to say that Debbie, my sister, that she was dealing with depression,
Sure.
you know, as well, and how she was going to deal with all these kids, you know, herself. But after he talked to Billy, my mom, she had a therapist, and her name was Paulette, and she had her for years and years and years. And so I trusted her.
Sure.
And she knew me, you know, she knew the dynamics of our family. And so I called her. And she was a licensed social worker.
Mm-hmm.
And I called her and I said, Paulette, I said, this is what Derek just told us. And I said, I don't think he's telling the truth, but I don't know what to do.
Sure.
And well, because I called her, she's mandated state reporter.
Absolutely.
Just like I am now. And she told me that she had to call children and youth and she was going to call the police. And that's exactly what she did.
Wow.
So next thing we know is the police show up at the house. Children and youth came.
And that's when the dolls came into place, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she came in and introduced herself, and that she explained to us, you know, that she needed to talk with Derek alone,
Sure.
that we were not permitted to be with them. And, you know, as a parent, and I'm sure Billy would agree, it's like, no, we need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, we need to
You're
to
just
know
learning about this yourself.
what is going on,
So,
you know, and
yeah.
we were not allowed. And so she took, she had 2 anatomical dolls. And if you don't know what they are,
You're okay, Mom. It
They're-
happens.
they're basically real looking dolls.
Yeah.
Real, like they're kids,
Yeah.
you know, type thing. And so she took him into the bedroom. I don't remember which one it was, but she closed the door and she came back out and she told the police that, yes, that there was something that has happened. And at that moment, when she said that, it was like, he's telling the truth. You know,
It really hit
Chris,
you then.
yeah. It's like, Chris did this
Yeah.
to our son. And so they had to put a warrant out for Chris's arrest. because
Was Chris still a minor at this
no,
point?
he had turned 18.
turned
Okay.
18.
Yeah, he was 17 whenever he did the molestation and the assault with Eric, and he turned 18 May 5th.
Okay.
That was that month.
Can I
that
say
he
something
turned.
about this before you guys keep going?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other night. Looking back, because of my agent at 17, I want to make this clear for people that kind of give an excuse for people that they're 17, it's different. When I looked at Chris, at his just height, his size, his demeanor, his age versus me at 5, he was an adult to me.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm saying as a child, we're not even talking law, but I looked at Chris as an adult figure, not an older brother like mine, right? He was an adult to me. So, I it's just crazy just the way you said, it hit me because when you said 17,
Yeah.
I want to remember that to me, it wasn't a feeling that he was still underage at the time. He was very much in standing of knowing what adult attributes should be as a human. And so I don't like when people give excuses.
And I wasn't giving an excuse.
No, I don't mean you, but I mean, I want to let people out there
In
know
general.
that at 17, they're not, they're not, to me in my mind, because of what I experienced, I didn't feel them as like an adolescent.
Sure.
And it came off when you mentioned him being 17.
Yeah.
And that's why we tried him as an adult.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
just for families, sometimes because when somebody's younger, families have a little bit extra remorse for the pain that individual put somebody through, right? Because I feel like you see their age is different. And for me, I just personally feel this is one of those crimes that it should be pretty balanced. I feel at any point.
No, he knew
in
right from
age.
wrong.
I mean, I understand in age. You're talking if it
Yeah.
happened and I was 5 and he was 9. Well, then clearly there's 2 victims here in that
Sure.
moment because something else is happening, right?
Yeah.
So,
he knew. He knew what he was
Yeah.
doing was wrong.
oh yeah,
You know,
that's what I mean.
There's no.
I wanted to bring
no
that
way
up when
around
you
that.
said about 17, just because I've talked to other people and I've had friends that have gone through other experiences and they tend to give an easier excuse on people when they're doing that, or if it's happened in school. Well, listen, it's a matter. No, that these people at this age, right from wrong.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. So that started the whole ball movement.
And did they find Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he showed up.
Yeah, he did, and it wasn't that day.
And was he aware of what was
they weren't
happening?
there.
He was not aware, but
Yeah,
he came. I think he was going to go racing or something with us.
yeah.
He just showed up, and we're like,
come walking
my
across the
gosh.
deck.
and we were told not to say anything to him.
I don't know how, honestly, as
Yeah.
a parent,
It
how.
was
I
one of
walked
the,
away.
It was
She
one of the
handled it.
hardest things that
Yeah.
we had to do.
Yeah.
And because as like I said, he walked away because he would have ripped him in half.
Yeah, that's what.
if he
Any
would have got a hold of
parent
him.
is, yeah.
And me, I think that in my life that was probably the most that I had to pull in my self-control,
Yeah.
because inside it was anything but, calm.
Mhm.
It's kind of like that, I might look calm on the outside, but I just throat punched you 5
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
So he left. And I got him to leave. And he did not know. I didn't, he probably thought, because of course I never talked to him again about anything like that, but he probably thought, well, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Why is Aunt Gail sending me, like telling me to leave? Jeez Louise.
Okay.
But he did leave. And he did get arrested. And he was in Allegheny County, I think,
I can't remember.
because my sister had a fire at her house.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a fire at her house, and they all had to relocate to, I think it was Allegheny County. And that's where the police tracked him down at, and he was arrested. I didn't have any talks with my sister or my brother-in-law. She was very angry.
At yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what is running through my head above and beyond the rest of this stuff is that this was internal within a family,
Oh,
right? These are
Yeah.
sisters and cousins
Yeah.
and, it's
Yeah.
within a family, which makes it
Right.
not that it's not horrendous anyhow,
Yeah.
but much more difficult.
Well, and also,
Yeah, because they were all so close.
I was just
We were
going to
all
say,
close,
even at
the-
my age,
the
I do
cousins.
remember there was, aside from all that pain, there was a lot of joy with that family in our life. There was a lot of other kids. I mean, we don't got to go into that part of it, but just like you said, Jen, there was, and that's what made it so much harder. My mom was very close to my Aunt Debbie. So it was, of course, it destroys so much. It's like brain cancer. I think, it's like when the spider webs start going through your brain, it just starts infecting everything around you.
Absolutely.
Because, oh my gosh, that was 35 years ago now.
Yeah.
36 years
And
ago.
I imagine the family
A lot of-
dynamic is still
Nope.
Oh, no.
there's been no-
It fractured. It
that's what I
Completely.
mean.
destroyed.
Yes,
Completely.
That's what
It
I'm saying. It's a
destroyed-
Yeah.
permanent.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It is.
Scenario.
They just decided how they handled it was Chris went to jail for drugs.
Okay.
And that's
That kind of,
That's what was being put out there.
That's what's being put out there.
I mean, I'm sure my parents wish that's what he
Sure.
needed to go to jail for,
Absolutely.
right? Was drugs. I mean,
Yeah.
that definitely,
Yeah. It would have been a whole lot easier. But my sister was angry because one of the things she was angry about is because I should have called her. That the police should have never been involved. I should have called her and trusted her to talk to her. And well, there wasn't any getting through to her that I talked to Paulette, and again, I should have called her.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at that point, I am 25 years old.
and you're still
26
you're a
years
young
old,
adult,
and
really,
I'm a
yourself
kid
learning.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Aunt Debbie's older
And-
too. I
oh
mean,
yeah, she's 12 years older than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
much older. So I and what I knew, my mom was away too. Had my mom been home, she was camping.
Oh.
She was away. She was not home.
You would have went to
I would
grandma
have went
immediately
directly
first.
to her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, in a
The
heartbeat.
matriarch of the
And
family.
to see
right?
what, yes,
Yeah.
and to
Yes.
see what do I do?
Yeah.
But she was not home, and there were cell phones.
Yeah.
You couldn't just pick up and say, "Yo, mom,"
What a shock for her to come back, I
Yeah.
imagine, too.
Yeah, it was.
Which
It
almost
was.
probably goes into a moment when I came out about all of that to you guys and you not having your mom there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like almost like
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
child's mom and then mom being the child
Oh,
for
gosh,
her
yeah.
mom, right?
I was a mom
And
at
she
19,
wasn't
there.
so
Yeah.
I can feel
Yeah.
Yeah.
for you and with you
Yeah.
because I literally
Mhm.
was a kid raising, if you ask my son, we grew
Yeah.
up together.
Yeah.
Different with my
Yeah.
daughter because I was older,
Yeah.
but I grew up with my
Yeah.
son.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
that was
because
a
moments
very
like that,
different
you would
dynamic.
probably, the
Absolutely.
first click would be, I need my mom.
Yeah.
She'll tell me what to do.
Yes.
I'll know what to do.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
those moments, at 5, again,
Mhm.
what's so important about today, again, is to remind people, right, that I was so young, I didn't realize all the things my parents would have been going through in that time that my brain now understands, And so, that moment, I can't imagine, for
Yeah.
them.
So her not being there, the only other thing I knew to do was call Paulette
Sure.
because I knew her and she was to be trusted.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was going to call the police.
Sure.
Or
but at the
children, yeah.
same point, that is what would need to happen
Yeah,
to an
absolutely.
individual
Oh,
that has
absolutely.
done
And
I
something
am-
like
Absolutely.
this. So
I'm thankful that the way that it did happen, that I wish I had my mom there. Yeah. Because
Absolutely.
I don't know if my mom would have said, well, let's call the police. I don't know if she would have because she would have been in denial as well.
I'm sure.
Which she was whenever she was told.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, like everybody was. It was just no.
yeah.
That there's no way. And it's those. The kids.
And I don't think that it was that you and Dad ever, and I still believe this day, it wasn't that you guys didn't want to believe me. It's that when you love your family and it's a family member, so much of you doesn't want to believe that empathy, the love of a human that you love.
Oh,
You don't want to
absolutely,
believe that.
you wouldn't.
And I just want to make that clear that it wasn't
Yeah.
that you guys didn't
Oh,
believe
no,
me.
no,
It
no,
was
no.
just,
It was a
it
denial.
was you didn't want to believe it was
a
him.
denial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being he was 5, and 5 years old, your imagination
Sure.
Yeah.
is different.
Mhm.
And Derek had a vivid
Yeah, he did.
imagination.
Yeah,
I
he
did. He's
did.
not
He
exaggerating.
would come up with
He
things,
did.
and you'd look at him like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like,
Separating imagination from
did
reality.
something
Yeah.
might have happened, and he triggered this, and now Derek's creating all this
Yeah.
because
Sure.
Derek was good at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Christopher never admitted to it, denied it the
once.
whole way. He when he was arrested, he was taken to the police station, and children and youth were there also. And he refused to take a lie detector. They had offered him 2 different times to take it, and he wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. If somebody accused me of that,
And you have nothing to worry
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
hook me up,
Yes.
and he didn't. So in our minds, oh, he's guilty,
Yeah.
and I think probably maybe deep down, I don't know how it was with you, but, for sure with me deep down that if he would have did that and it showed that he was telling the truth, okay, then we have to, take
There's-
care of Derek.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's something that's going on that we need to address with him.
Or
And to help him.
is it Chris and maybe is somebody else messing with our son or you know what I mean? Point is it would
Yeah.
close one door to open up another.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he would have been able to say, I'm innocent, fine.
Yeah,
Hook
absolutely.
me up.
Yeah.
But he refused to do it. So he was arrested. Charges were put against him. And the whole list of sexual assault charges, were put against him. And I don't what he didn't go to jail yet. They arrested him, but he wasn't.
Yeah. He was released on his own
We had to start going through.
because he was still, at that point, he was still considered, even though he was 18, he committed the crime when he was 17.
Sure.
So they
Yeah.
released him to his mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, the district attorney got involved. Basically at that time with Butler, and we lived up there, that it was, we wanted him to be tried as an adult because he had turned 18.
Sure.
And our thoughts were, he was 17 years old. He knew exactly what he was doing. I don't care that, 8 months just passed and he has an 18, instead of a 17. He still knew what he was doing.
Sure.
So he needs to be tried as an adult. And, the DA didn't want to do it because it was going to be an upper hill battle. It had never been done, to get him adjudicated.
Yeah. We're going to give him 3 months of, what do you call it? Therapy. We're going to give him
Therapy,
3 months
yeah.
of therapy, and that's going to be the end.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, no, that's not acceptable to us,
well, kudos to you guys for fighting for your child.
Yeah. Well,
And back then when
Yeah.
obviously you guys told me the story.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it is
was
now.
bad.
There was
Yeah.
no near the support
No.
that
Yeah,
you
there's
have
nobody.
now.
No,
And-
it was bad.
And the
was
thing
really
with
bad.
her was, her name was Shelley Long.
Cheryl Long, yeah.
Cheryl Long.
The DA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, okay, we're just going to do this. And it got ugly. At one point I told her, I said, when I walk out of here, I said, I'm going down. I'm calling channel 2, 4, and 11. And I'm telling them what you just told me. Well, you can't do that because that's the way we do things around here. I don't give a crap how you do things
Yeah.
around here.
You can say shit, Dad. It's okay. It's
It's
18
like-
plus on
Yeah.
this anyways.
It's like, no, you're going to get off. And the woman was heavy. And I probably shouldn't have said this, but I told her, you're going to get off your fat ass and you're going to do something. Because I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah.
Because I come from a different world.
Well, and let's be
I'm a
mindful.
very-
Your anger, your
Yeah.
fuel inside right
Yeah.
now is so intense, right?
Yeah.
Because you just are in constant rage
Yeah.
with everything going
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
I'm from a world where violence was normal.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're going to go. I don't want to hear this. And she finally said, well, we'll try. And I'm like, and we were like, no, you're going to do more than try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is you go to these people, and we're young, we're still in our 20s, and you go to them thinking they're professionals, thinking these people know what to do. They didn't care one way or the other.
And you trust
As far
them.
as she was
Yeah.
concerned, I'll give them 3 months, and that's good. Let's move on to something that's going to make my
that'd be
name
like
bigger.
a win,
Yeah.
like a win.
Yeah.
A
kind of
big
idea.
check. Yeah.
And and by the time we were done pushing the way we did, then they succumbed to that basically. And I feel that it was more just to shut us up, So all right, we'll do it your way, and we're gonna try.
Which still wasn't really your way. It was
The right way.
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
It's what should have been done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they did. And that was a whole other process that we all had to endure. And Derek, he had to go into the judge's chambers. And at this point, he probably was 6, 5.5, 6. I don't remember the exact date that the judge thing happened, but he went into the chambers. They would not let me go in, but they allowed my mom to go in with him.
Okay.
And so she was able to go and sit with
which
him.
I have to say I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
I definitely am glad we have better laws for that now, right?
Sure.
That we
Well, that's a scary
understand.
experience
We
for a little
understand
kid,
that
you
at
know?
a certain age, a child deserves their family to be present.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But having my grandma in there was great. And because, go ahead, Mom. And
Yeah. So her and Derek and the assistant DA, and I don't know whether, I think she might have been there, the DA.
yeah, she was the judge. Graham was to my left. I was sitting on this
Okay,
side.
so then she was there.
and then Christopher's lawyer was on the right side. I remember
Yeah.
because he had long hair. He was longer, remember?
Yeah, he.
Oh yeah, because he
That's a
scared
whole
the
nother
he scared the
story.
living shit out of me.
Yeah.
He was
He
because the
was-
way he talked to you was one of those aggressive, very
Sure.
just
Yes.
pinpointed. But he talked to me like that, and it scared the shit out
I'm
of
sure.
me. Yeah,
So they're in there, and we're out in the hallways, waiting. My sister was there. Her husband was there, ex-husband at that point. Her new boyfriend was there. So we're out there and trying to just hang tight the best we could,
Yeah.
not knowing what was going on. What were they doing to him? Because we couldn't be there.
Yeah.
And so,
And I'm sure you're protective of your child anyhow, but you must be on high alert as a mom at this point
Oh.
because of the scenario that
Oh,
you go through.
absolutely.
So
I
like
do remember
absolutely.
that.
you're like mama lion by this
Absolutely.
point, right?
Yeah.
About everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So he came out and Mom was with him. And remember what Mom said? He did good. And she was so proud of him and that he couldn't have did better. And that they were trying, the lawyer, Chris's lawyer, which was high paid.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a public defender. He
Oh, yeah.
was paid a lot, I'm sure, without a doubt. But anyway, so what they tried to do, and this is infuriating that
no, you're fine.
they
I'll
would
move it
do
for
this,
you, Mom.
and I guess it's
There you go.
maybe it's a defense lawyer thing. I don't know, but Derek, does your mommy and daddy watch movies? Yeah.
Oh, I can see. Yeah.
It's trying to blur
and-
those lines to make it look like.
and he'd asked, what movies they watch, and my mom said that he said, Ninja Turtles.
Well, because that's what we watched with
Well,
them.
you do.
I mean,
exactly.
like-
And then he switched gears and he went to magazines. And do your parents have magazines? Yeah. And what kind of magazines you have? He said, Flowers, race cars. He didn't know the names of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Good Housekeeping,
Yeah.
race car stuff. So everything that he tried to do with Derek to flip it away from Chris to try to put it to us
Yeah.
didn't work,
Good.
because he was, and I, of course, we weren't there, but he had to be so brave.
Yeah.
My mom was not allowed to talk. She wasn't allowed to say
At
a
all.
word.
In fact,
She held his hand.
yeah, I was just going to
And that
say
was
she was
all that
allowed
she
to
was
hold my
allowed to do.
hand.
She could not intervene. She could just be
And
there.
she must have, I mean, your mom, what an achievement for your mom to make it
Yeah.
through that too, because I can't imagine with those kind of leading questions, she probably wanted to jump up and punch somebody.
yeah.
You
And,
know,
and the
and-
fact
yeah.
that this is her grandson, both of her daughters,
her other
both grandsons. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is half of her family,
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
and she had to choose. Well, not she didn't have to. She chose to choose my side,
Yeah.
and I just want to
But
say
it's
that
not
because
really choosing
well,
a
not
side
choosing,
of a person.
but
It's
yeah.
choosing, well, it is, but it's choosing like the correct side.
yes,
I
the
mean,
correct
that's
side, but just still the
difference.
pain.
Yeah.
Her knowing that
Yeah.
she is definitely going to lose
Somebody.
this side
Something,
and
yeah.
Yes.
somebody,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was just to remind people too. Again, it was years, but it's not pieces. It felt like our life became this normalcy. The crying all the time, the up and downs, mom and dad fighting, not because mom
Just
and
the
dad really have a
stress.
problem, because the stress and family and everything going on and the pain. And it was every day, all day long at some point, and it felt so normalized.
It was consuming.
It was consuming
Yeah.
over what one human did to one child.
Yeah.
And the longevity of change, it was devastating. And so for
Because we couldn't
me,
escape it.
I normalized it because emotions became so normalized. So when I saw my mom and dad fighting, or my mom cried, my dad's not a big crier. can count,
I'm with you. So
but on less than one hand, I
Yeah.
think.
I
And
was
it's
raised completely different.
and I think every time I have seen him cried has been because of family.
Yeah.
Because something that has broken his heart over a family member.
Yes.
Because family is everything to him. And so both of you,
Our
but
family.
you know,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, yes. He's
But
very,
even others, honestly,
very
we've
of the
talked
people
about
that
it.
he
Your
loves.
dad, very much.
Yeah.
He would extend his hand for
Yeah.
a stranger.
Yes.
You know, no questions asked. So again, I think fast forwarding with the court, for me, it was almost a very quick blurb because of my age. So for you guys, how long did you feel that
took
process
forever.
was?
It
Did
took
it feel
forever
like
because
forever?
Everyone was, at the time, you don't really think about it, but everyone was against us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were the wrong
We
ones.
were.
Yeah.
Her brothers was like, when that stuff happens, you just shut your mouth, leave it alone. You're causing problems.
Yeah.
You know, and
The Derek's
I
lying.
said I come from a different life where, no, you want to fight? Let's fight.
yeah.
You know, let's go. You want to do this? And they were like, oh, you're wrong. You guys are making our family look bad. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And we did feel villainized. I know Jed has some other questions, but Dad, because of what you're saying, I think this is a prime example of when you start feeling a little normal in this period of rush between that court, after feeling like something happens, and then the funeral. We talked about this the other night. It was the first time my dad's and my mom's just rage and emotion inside finally let loose. And I want you guys to tell the story because I was so young, but Chris showed up to an actual funeral of our family members after all this had happened.
Well, before we jump to that, let's finish with the court case.
Oh, yeah,
What was
sorry.
the
Yes,
actual
sorry.
result?
Well,
of the
what
court
happened
case?
Yes,
was-
thank you, Jen.
This lawyer they had, and I don't care saying his name was Donahue. He was an animal. His thing was, I'm going to put your 4-year-old or 5-year-old son up on that stand, and I'm going to make sure this courtroom's packed unless you make the deal I want. He was brutal. He didn't care. And I know at one point, he'd do this when we leave the courtroom. He'd get in the elevator with us.
Just intimidation.
Oh,
Did you ever
Yeah.
watch Scott Jennings on CNN?
Mm-hmm.
He had that look.
Oh, yeah. I know
Okay.
exactly what you're talking
So
about.
one time I told him, I says, listen, you have a son, don't you? He goes, yep. I said, I hope someday you feel the way I feel right now. He says, you're threatening me? I'm not threatening you at all. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I hope someday you can feel this way.
Yeah.
Because he was brutal.
Because I guarantee he would do the same thing that you guys were
Yeah.
doing had he
Yeah,
been
he
in your
was
possession.
brutal. I mean, so what happened was the DA come to us and said, and you got to remember, we're still young too, said, we got a deal. We got a plea deal. And our big thing was we wanted a felon. We wanted to be him on record.
Mm-hmm.
Was that they give us the plea deal, and we're like, we didn't really understand legal.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, do you think this is a good deal? And they're like, yeah, this is a good deal. Well, we took the plea deal. Well, right away, the very next day in the paper, just doing it, you had it printed that his client did not get charged with any kind of sexual crime.
Yeah. Because
that for you guys,
That for
right,
me-
was the first moment when you're like, oh shit, we had
realized.
no damn idea on what the hell.
we
didn't realize we're so focused on a felony because that's what they're telling us that we didn't even realize that the bigger picture was actually letting the world know what this human did to my baby, how he destroyed him.
He wasn't convicted, or he was,
He
and
was.
it could not be made publicly known.
He was. He was. Go ahead, honey.
I forget what the charges were.
It was corruption of a minor,
Okay.
endangering the welfare of a child, and the criminal trespass was the felony.
Okay.
That they went from the sexual assault to
Criminal trespass.
criminal trespassing because it was a felony, and that's
And so,
what
did he end
was-
up on a registry because of this, or no?
No.
See, that's the
No,
scariest
because
part
he
of
was
all
his
this.
cousin.
But what they
He
did
was
And
his
back
cousin.
then, Megan's Law
they
did.
fueled
Yeah.
the fire at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, okay, you want to play? We're going to play. So we went to Beaver County where he lives. Then we pressed charges.
Because the molestation and the assault that Derek endured in my sister's house, she was in a different county.
Okay.
So we were able to go after him
There.
through the other county.
Because the both locations.
Yes.
And police that came and talked to us, it was a woman officer.
Yeah, you really
And-
liked her, you said.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, she was phenomenal. She listed if she could charge him with a crooked toenail, she charged him.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, everything, and that list was long. So
You said to me the other night that you and Dad said that was one of the first times you actually felt seen.
oh yeah,
For the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time through all this.
Absolutely.
Imagine everything we've been through at this point.
Absolutely.
All this time. And Mom and Dad
Yeah.
said that was probably the first time we truly felt like
Yes.
somebody
Was listening.
wanted to
Yeah,
hold him accountable.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you could even tell it she was angry, and I don't know whether she was a mom. I don't know whether she had an experience. I don't
Mhm.
know, but I do know that she heard us
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and how important that was. And he was sitting in jail. He ended up with his plea bargain. He got 11 to 23 and a half months in jail. And he was in a local jail, county jail. And the reason that they kept it at 23 and a half months, for people that don't realize this, is that once you hit a 24-month charge, you go to a state penitentiary.
Oh, they were keeping him local
Yes.
in baby prison.
They didn't want anything
Yeah.
bad
They
to
didn't
happen
want
to
him. Yeah. And
because he's such a young man, and we're worried that if he goes to prison, bad things will happen to him.
somebody's going to make him their bitch, basically.
Well,
And-
I'm not going to say that.
Well, no, but we're all thinking it at the
I'll
table,
say
and that's a huge.
I'll say it because I said to the DA or the ADA, as like, why shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't he feel what he did to our son?
Yeah.
He sodomized our son.
Yeah.
Let him feel what that is like.
Yeah.
You know? Do you think that
It's
we
an
care?
eye for an eye.
Yeah. Do you think we care?
Yeah.
We didn't, you know? And to this day, and I know it's only on me, but I can forgive. And because I have a full heart, I've not been able to forgive him for what he's done. And I carry that. He could give one shit less about us, you know,
Does he still live local?
or what he did.
No,
Florida.
No, he moved
Okay.
to Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
And you know,
but-
for me, about the timeline, real quick, I just want to chime in before you and Dad finish telling Jen that I thought a lot about the time he got, and I have forgiven him. I've told you that. I've told Dad that because
Mhm.
I, some of my story. I was losing myself completely, probably soon my life, and I started to realize that I had to start there because I had never really forgiven him, not for him,
For you.
for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I think part of the reason why I couldn't forgive him is because my whole life, I just kept thinking, the minute I was old enough for my mom to make me understand why he got the time he got and how he got it. And I thought, I've been being punished since my life really started turning around when I turned 30.
Yeah.
So when you look at it that way, I felt like I was being punished way longer
Well, he
than
took
the
a
person
lot
that
of
hurt
time
me
from you.
because I didn't know how to build strength. I didn't know how to take control. So I did things in my life to garnish that control. But there was still the kindness in it. Mom used to say I would steal from a store, but then I would gift it. I wouldn't steal it for myself. I would steal it and then give it to somebody because there was a kindness to me, something I've always had.
Well,
But that's always been my hardest thing about it is the fact that I had a long, rough road that I had to endure.
Yeah,
and
he
it
stole
all-
that time from
it
you
all
on top of
stemmed-
everything else.
It all
Yeah.
stemmed
Yeah.
from this one root and created spider webs of pain for years. Well, after 3 years, he got to pretty much move on with his life with nobody understanding, knowing, and really forgetting the process.
well, in Beaver, he was charged with incest.
Yeah. He had
Okay.
incest.
And they didn't have a fancy lawyer this time.
No, it was public defender he had.
And the DA, I will say, the police department in Beaver and the DA in Beaver
Yes.
did their job.
Phenomenal.
They did what you expected, what Butler should have done.
Yes. Yeah, they
And-
were.
I'm glad.
And the lady from Beaver, the DA, she'd come to us and she said, I'm going to tell you what they said. She said, I told them they take a hike. They want this and that. And I told them, ain't happening. And they finally had to agree with a sexual charge.
Yeah, they wanted us to bend to their will. And at that point, he was 7, 8 years old, 7 to 8. And he had known everything that happened at this point.
Sure.
So at that point, it was, we don't have anything to lose. He's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to hurt us?
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt us a bit. So they want to piss around and do their, let's go back and forth. Just stop, because we're not doing that. We will go to trial. We do not care. And we didn't.
Yeah.
Him, he was ready. He was ready to do it, And he even with knowing that, okay, well, I might have to sit across from him and face him, it didn't matter because we truly had nothing to lose. Nothing at that point. And but anyway, so he was transferred. He did get transferred down to Beaver. And he ended up they gave him time served, and he ended up spending, I think it was 15 or 18 months in jail total time.
No, he spent 23.
Was it 20? Was it?
Yeah, 23 months.
Yeah, I know he never went to a state penitentiary.
Okay.
Everything that had
Was
happened, he
local.
stayed
But he
under.
basically was in there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he needed to do, he was supposed to do therapy for sex offenders once he got out. And he was ordered out from Butler, and then he was ordered from Beaver. And the
But
counties,
that's them
though,
almost admitting his guilt by putting that as part of his charge, but not actually charging him
Exactly.
for that.
Exactly.
That's amazing to me.
So the counties argued back and forth, basically, was that, well, he's in your jurisdiction, you need to pay for it. I was like, well, no, he came from yours. You need to pay for it. So with all of that, he didn't do it. And he did get 5 years parole. So he did do that. But that the whole process of the court system, going through that, we realized that why women that are sexually assaulted, why they don't want to speak up, because they're victimized.
You almost feel not
over
seen.
again. And it's like, why would you take a 5-year-old, 6-year-old child that was sexually assaulted
And put them through that.
and put him on a witness stand in front of the perpetrator? Well, because the perpetrators have a right to face their accuser. they have rights.
Which we agree to an
You know,
extent.
Sure.
Kind of like
And-
abortion. There's lines. There's
and-
crazy
and it's like,
lines
yes.
involved
Okay.
with that.
Okay, put him on a closed camera, in with the lawyers.
Yeah.
Something he's not
so that-
physically there.
Yeah,
so
something
that
which
he
they
can-
do now
Sure.
in programs for
But they
advocacy.
didn't
They
do
wanted
that.
to pack the courtroom.
Oh yeah,
And at one point, this is how victimized the whole family was.
yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I adopted Derek. I'm not his biological
Yeah.
father. His biological father showed up with them and sat in the courtroom.
With the other side.
Did you
I
did
didn't
you know
tell you
your
that
dad?
part of the story.
Did you
Well,
know who he was? Is what I
So
mean.
it's funny
No.
he brings it
No.
up because we
He
mentioned it a
didn't
Thank
lot.
know.
gosh,
He didn't
right?
even know
Yeah.
who he was.
Thank goodness.
Dad asked me when we were going through the questions, he said, how do you feel about that part of the conversation? You don't really like to admit that. And I said, it's not that I don't like to admit it. I'm proud to admit it. I've always looked at you as just my father. So
Yeah.
I've never said, oh yeah, Jen, this is my, I've never introduced my father as, hey, this is my dad. He adopted me, because I don't, even with you, I don't refer to him that way.
Yeah.
I've always referred to him as the man that has raised me, and that
That's your
deserves
dad.
the name. So,
Yeah.
Tom, my biological father, I don't recognize him as a father because I think that there are responsibilities and obligations. My dad wasn't a perfect dad all the time. I wasn't a perfect son, but he was always present and there. He was always provider for his family. He showed up. That's what the title of dad
He was
and
your dad.
father
He is
and
your
husband
dad.
is supposed to be
Yeah.
for. So for me, I said, of course we can talk about it. I'm proud to say that a man, it's a selfless thing to come into somebody else's life, right? And offer to financially provide care, do the best they can, and love the best way that they know how, and learn as they go. But just make the commitment to whatever happens, I'm here. I'm here for you no matter
And he
what.
did.
Even if I'm not happy, even if I'm pissed off, even if you're pissed off at me, no matter what, that if you make that phone call, I'll be there. So I've never just talked about it in that reference, but go ahead, Dad.
And plus, I knew Dad. I knew the day he was born.
Yeah, because of
I was
the
around because
because of the race cars.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, and once again, like the system didn't do anything. Like, dude, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But her family was so hell bent. They made us go to. They paid for a psychiatrist
Yeah, we had to,
that we had to go to.
and
And-
then we had to take
I
Derek,
had to take Derek.
and
And this guy, he was on their side. 'cause
You
they
mean
paid.
Debbie's Christopher's
Yeah, their
side?
lawyer.
Their
Yeah,
lawyer.
and this was
yeah.
the first.
So they paid for this
during the
psychiatrist.
first.
But even he said, no, he did it.
Yeah, we were court ordered
Mhm.
to take him, and we were not permitted to tell him what he was doing,
Yeah.
where we were going. Just that he was going to go see a doctor.
Sure.
And that was the only thing that we were permitted to tell him.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you want to be as transparent as you can. And it's like, we're scared. It's
Yeah.
like, great, they're paying for this psychiatrist. Who the hell knows what he's going to say?
Sure.
Because he's hired by them.
And at that point, we've been dealing with this lawyer.
No,
and
yeah.
He's like,
He
this
was-
guy has no
he was
soul.
nasty.
He don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he was,
Yeah.
to me, he acted like he was a big man, but to me, in my eyes, he's very small.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You get that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
were, so it really for you wasn't like you understood and knew that his job is to defend Chris.
knew
He gets
that.
paid, but you feel there was lines, even him as a lawyer, as a defense lawyer, that he
said I believe
crossed.
differently.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I believe
Mhm.
in strong and a code. You have a code as a man. You do not do that. You don't mess with your buddy's girl. There's certain things you don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was raised in the woods, and city people don't understand that because back in them days, we had a code.
Mm-hmm.
And you lived by that code.
yeah.
And this dude did not have a code. And I have no respect.
And you have struggle with that's his struggle with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, the whole thing was,
I mean, in the rage, I know the
Horrendous.
funeral. I know Jen has a couple questions. We're having
Yeah.
such good
We've
conversation. I don't
actually
want to rush
answered a
it.
lot of
Most
them.
of them,
Yeah.
yes. Just real quick, I wanted to go to the point, Mom. You don't have to explain the whole funeral. Go. I acknowledge that Chris showed up at the funeral. Who was that again? At that
Pappy, my
Pappy's
grandfather,
funeral.
Pappy.
Can you fast forward though? I really want to focus on Rach for people out there that really imagine the days. Now they're hearing and they're understanding. People, you hear what we went through every single day. This was a phone calls. If we weren't in court, we were on phone calls. I was in counseling, psychology. Mom and dad are dealing with the stress. Mom's upset and depressed. Dad's frustrated. Work, coming home. There's 2 other kids that need attention. Derek needs it full time right now. We don't, all this chaos. And then this individual shows up at a funeral. Okay. Then comes after. The funeral is one thing, but then shows up to dinner.
Yeah.
In the place that our whole family's at and me. And I want to bring this up and have you fast forward to the part of when you broke and how dad broke and explain to people why you are not bad or unhuman because you have a moment like that.
Well, my grandfather passed away. And so we had the funeral at a cemetery. Debbie was there. Her whole family was there. We were there, and of course cousins and all that were there. And we were upset that he was there to begin with because he was court ordered that he had to stay away from us. Okay, but Billy and I talked. I was like, okay, it's his great grandfather, so let's just get through this.
Yeah,
he wasn't standing beside us. Let's get through this, and then we done with him. Because as a person that loves the way I do and honoring people, I understood, especially my sister being there, that she wanted support. Did I think that Christopher was, Pappy, we're just going to miss you? No. No. But Debbie, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it was like, let's just get through this. And then we had to go to the wake. It was inside of a restaurant. Who shows up? Chris. Okay. And we're all in this closed room. He shows up. And there's bar. And he's on parole. Because he was out of jail at this point. And he was drinking. Should have been drinking. But he was. And so Derek had a therapist with us. Her name was Angela.
I remember that.
And she came with us not because of Chris being there, but just...
Well, that wasn't expected to happen.
No, because if Derek needs help or something, if he acts out or, whatnot.
Because my behavior problems were starting.
Oh, yeah.
At this point now.
Yeah. And so, and that way we could just deal with what we had to deal with. So we're sitting there, and I remember that we were sitting against the wall behind, and Chris come walking in, and I think I had a million different emotions at that moment, but the top of that list was anger, and it was like, you mother effer. It's bad enough that we did have to endure you at the funeral, but yet your smug ass comes walking in here. Because that's another thing that he was smug. And he would smile at you.
It wasn't like he was remorseful.
No.
He had that smile.
Oh, yeah, he smiled. Whenever he signed the papers to go to jail, he looked at us as he was signing those papers and smiled. Another moment that you want to go across and you snag him.
Well, because too, it's all this like you're looking at this person realizing, who are you?
Yeah.
This is the real you. I know that now.
Yeah. So
this predator, this evilness that was in my family, it's just it's like instant of rage all the time.
Yeah. And then he comes strutting in. And my niece was with us. And my brothers were in the middle, and they greeted him and shook his hand. And at that, all of those moments, they just like came to a head, and I was like, your nephew was raped by him. and you're shaking his hand? What is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
We weren't invited to the family table.
You
It
know?
was really outside.
And
Sure.
so we, I got up and I left because I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
I did.
And I
you know,
think
and
that's
then
a
here he
natural-
is. He's sitting there, and have to look at him
Yeah.
and like, why? My thought was, you know, was he thinking, you know, Mom and Dad, why is he here? You know, he hurt me. Why is he here? So I left. My niece came out with me, and I honestly don't remember what Angela did with you. I don't recall.
I don't remember because you continue your story because
we got up.
Yeah, we went out.
I grabbed Savannah.
Okay.
Angela had Derek.
Derek.
And
Okay.
we went to walk out.
Okay.
Well,
And
he was coming from the bar area in the doorway or something. So, unfortunately, we passed. As we're passing, I was standing there with the baby, and he went,
yeah.
and that was it for me. It was like, okay, there's 20 aliens and one of me. You guys better get some more help because it's on.
And whenever, because I
Dad,
went
come a
out.
little closer,
Yeah.
buddy. Like pull
No.
your body home. in
I
a
went
little more.
out.
You're good.
Whenever Tammy and I went out,
There
he
we
had-
go. That's
he
good.
followed us out. And Savannah was still inside.
Yeah. So I went back
Yeah,
to get her.
and whenever he came out, very few times in my life, I'm usually pretty composed, as far as losing my grip on
Yeah.
me.
Just reality.
Yeah, and he came out, and I just lost, my composure. I started hitting him, and that's something that we've talked about. And I was wrong. I shouldn't have, hit it. I didn't hit it.
But you
I
weren't
hit in
hitting
the
him
chest.
because you were angry at him. You
No,
were just
I was
angry.
I was just
He was your safe place, and
Oh,
you
yeah,
just lost
absolutely.
it
And I
on
knew
him. Yeah,
that I could go at him, and he would take it.
because he knew why
Yeah,
he was taking it
and-
for you.
But it goes to how much he loves his family and is protective of us. He saw me lose my control, and how much pain I was in at that moment. And he went back in. He had to go get Savannah. And I don't know, honestly, if Chris wouldn't have did, if the timing wouldn't have been perfect the way that it was, that he
Mhm.
walked past Billy, I don't know that Billy would have went after him like he did until he did what Chris did,
Mhm.
and
And I don't even know who the person was. It might have even been a stranger. Just I took the baby. And
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to have to fight him, his brothers, and her brothers. And I
yeah,
was like, "Come on, boys.
yeah,
We're going to do this." And
Yeah.
then everybody's like, "Well, you caused a big
and
scene."
it got stopped. I mean, he never did get to Chris, but then my mom was angry at us because how dare you, do that at my father's funeral.
Yeah.
Now she
you know,
didn't know everything that had
that-
happened either.
No,
We talked about that.
that wasn't the place and time. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
But the
What
word
was
that
the
you just
It wasn't
said,
the place and time
place
for him
and time,
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it wasn't the place and time
Yeah.
period. Again, the time frame we were looking, and
Yeah.
you guys said this the other night. You truly believe if we picked up that moment and we dropped it right now,
it'd be different. Oh,
our
yeah.
entire
The whole
family,
situation
the
would
whole
have been
situation,
different.
and that's
Back in
again what's
those
so
days, they
crazy.
Yeah.
People didn't accept that.
No.
And you got to remember, too, is we're from a rural. How I learned about life was I was 17. I got on a motorcycle, went to Texas. No apparent reason. I just went there. And I lived in Houston. I mean, I came from an area that had 500 people. You live in a 40-mile radius, there's 4 million people.
Yeah.
You realize how much of a bubble you grew up in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I learned that people around, I just lost my train of thought, but anyway,
People want to stuff
people
things.
around the rural areas, they don't want to talk about this.
Sure.
They don't want to recognize this.
And I still actually think that there's
it
a little
still
bit
is
of
a
that.
thing, and
that
there's still
way
shame
now.
around
Yeah.
it and pride,
Now-
and
35 years later, you don't have as many rural people
Sure.
as you did back then.
Yeah.
Because I believed when I left and went to Texas, I believed it's totally different. So I'm looking at these people like, what the hell is this, California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you learn, but today's society is better.
Yeah.
And these parents that are going through this today, when you do get help, one place I would ask is to research the people that's helping you. Because we did not have good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to.
Yeah.
We
recommend.
actually had the workers, I say workers, the people that got involved with us, which were many, because we were shuffled here, shuffled there.
And many after?
And
I mean, many after this was all said and done with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. It was a life.
There was a lot of horrible experiences from people that my parents thought they could trust that
Yeah.
only caused more harm because they didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But there was also people like Leslie.
Yeah. There are people.
There are people out there that again, I may not be at this table if they hadn't at some point come in my life to help me with something in that moment.
Dad and we were talking last night about the people that helped the most. And Kevin Boozle, he was one, and then Leslie.
For me, Leslie was what helped me the most, but also my heart was broke the most because back then.
For the listeners who are Kevin and Leslie.
Sorry. Kevin Boozle was my
he was
wraparound
worker.
And back then, there was an incredible program. I actually wish they had it more. That you had on-site counselors. So instead of going to an office, these counselors would bring you and they would take kids off-site to go to the museum, go to the zoo.
Sure.
But you're counseling that child while you're at that event. So they feel
comfortable,
a little more
relaxed
vulnerable, a little more comfortable, relaxed. And it worked for me. It was something that I liked activities. I liked that. And I was able to open up. But the problem in and now I've grown up, I know a lot of it has to do with healthcare now. As a kid, I didn't understand. But when you have a child that is going through so many issues, they're also feuding at home. They have behavior problems. They're dealing with that because they're young and they don't know how to deal with all of that trauma. And, you know, you're sitting there and there's no... I just lost my train of thought. See, Dad, you're not the only one, buddy.
We're about.
I know. I just lost my train of thought.
Whenever the people that you trust, and then you.
So there was. What my point is the loss of you would start to build this incredible relationship with a counselor or psychologist, and then they'd be ripped away. They'd be taken apart. They'd be moved. The insurance wouldn't cover it. So guess what? Now we're going to deal with our son acting out again because now, and this way, a different anger, a different problem. So I just felt like all the problems for me looking back and for my family were so compounded because every time we were getting somewhere, some massive ball dropped, which threw us back all over again. And then my parents feeling that, again, they can't nor know how to navigate what I'm going through, right? Which then led into the discussion I told you about the placements. They were so pushed aggressively, I feel, after we've talked from counselors, psychologists, and doctors to get us in and started me on that journey.
But I get a lot of the counselors we learned through mistakes. They had more problems than Derek did.
Yeah.
Oh, Angela.
They came in and they were.
And I mean that with love, if she ever sees
trying to
this.
think that these people are going to help us. And then we find out later that Derek's problems are nothing compared to this. How is she helping?
Sure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't her fault. And I know what you mean, Dad. It was like, this broken soul, how can this broken soul fix my son's broken soul now?
She shared that with him. Her history, her pain.
At the time, she shared with me that she had been molested. And at the time, as a child then, I was so angry because everybody was angry at her. You remember that, don't you? She bought me golf clubs. We were going golfing. Amazing. I loved Angela. I still do. I love that she came into my life. But her trauma, what I didn't understand is she wasn't healed from her trauma. She didn't learn her triggers from her trauma. So I was going to bond with her on the trauma, but not fixing the trauma.
Sure.
And I didn't understand why those companies, my parents were so mad at her. And then guess what I did? I felt my parents took her from me, right? So now I'm going to act out yet again on them because I feel, why is everybody attacking me? Why do I constantly keep getting hurt, right? You start blaming and finding people to blame because as a kid, I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so devastating.
Absolutely. And this is a, God bless all of you. This is a, it's, I don't even know what kind of story to call this, and I appreciate you being so open with us. But if you could take a positive out of this, what has it done with your intimate little family? Have you become closer?
Well,
It's
that's
kind of
like a two.
You kind of
That's a big question.
Yeah.
At first, it's everybody's at everybody because no one understands what's going on. But then, as life goes on, it's like me and her talked about this. Your first 10 years of your marriage, you're all lovey-dovey, you love each other, blah, blah, blah. And after 35 years, you're not all lovey-dovey, but you have a deeper love that you can never understand. And same thing with this. After all that, somehow we managed to grow deeper
Together.
together. I mean, it's hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can, every morning you wake up and go, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
But you wake up knowing that, hey, once again, we got through this.
You survived.
I was just going to say that at one point, we evolved from being victims to survivors of this. And if we can help any family that is going through this, that's what we want to do. I mean,
just to let them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
Because no matter, even though you know what happens, right, you still feel alone in the moment. And to know that you're not crazy. Rage exists. The pain exists, and it doesn't just go away.
Disbelief,
it's a life.
all of those
it is a
things.
life altering change.
It is. And I've always said that Derek, the little boy that he was before Chris did what he did to him,
Died.
I had to mourn the death of him. And that took me a good hard minute to do that because I wanted my Derek. I mean, he's my Derek.
Yeah.
But I wanted that little boy back. I wanted what Chris took away from him back because he took his innocence. He took his power. He took everything from him. Where no child should ever have to do that.
Yeah.
And no family should have to endure that. So through all that, Derek and I are very close. I mean,
to both of you,
whenever
though.
he was,
differently, but to both of you.
Yeah, I mean, because I have that maternal.
Yeah.
But I found that I would protect him more.
Sure.
But I was also hard on him also.
Yeah.
Because there was just certain things that you have to respect people. If he got in trouble at school, if he was disrespectful at school, elementary, he would come home and I would make him write an apology note. And he would. He would sit and we would sit together and he would write an apology note.
But that's also why I get compliments all the time, the way that I just treat my elders. Even now, as I'm an adult, I just have a way of just showing admiration and respect for people.
Well, I think that's what you're illustrating is something that's missing from our society at large right now is this terrible thing that Derek went through. does not excuse his future behavior to not be a
Right.
good human being
Yes.
Exactly.
himself.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
And
we'll
so
get
you
into that
still-
in
Yes.
part 2.
Yes, you
Yes.
still have to be held accountable no matter
Yes.
what
Yes.
you've gone through in
Yes.
your life.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's
Absolutely.
not an excuse for forever bad behavior.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think, oh, sorry, you done? Are you still
Well, I was
going?
just going to say that I'm sure that going through that type of times that I made you do different
Yeah.
things, that you probably were like, she hates me,
Yeah.
because why is she making me do that? Why is she being
Yeah.
mean to me?
Well, because I think
And-
too, I didn't have a normal childhood past that. So everything that was happening to me, you have to remember at that time, right? I was constantly feeling like I was being punished for something that I couldn't quite put my finger on,
Mhm.
right? Because I was being told it wasn't my fault. That
Yes.
the rape, the molestation, the lies, the threats, the intimidation, I knew by hearing you guys that it wasn't my fault. So I understood the words that you were saying.
Mhm.
But then because of me at that age not understanding how I was releasing it even into my early teens
Mhm.
and all of those struggles, I just felt like in my brain it was still computing as I was being punished because I
Sure.
still did something
Even though your
wrong.
mom was
Mhm.
dealing with something totally different.
Yes, so
you
we
know?
were on, my mom
Mhm.
and dad were on completely we were all on different paths and we
pages.
were trying to get on the same path.
Yeah.
And I just think it took a lot of years. Now looking back, when I placed blame and felt like I was hated by my whole family, I now look back and I see that it wasn't hate. It was just despair and anger. The rage did not stop years after Chris. It was still there. It was still prevalent.
Yeah.
My parents were still blaming themselves way into my adulthood. I still think pieces of them, even after all the healing conversations we've had, they still hold on to that. What I've had a saying lately when I say to everybody, I say, I've become the person I feel now because of my experience. It was hard and there was a lot of pain.
Mhm.
I mean, pain. I mean, real pain that the type of pain that you heal from. And when you talk about it, it
just comes
it reminds
right
you the
back.
hurt, the
Mhm.
pain, even though I'll leave this today and I'll be
Yep.
fine
Yep.
because I've passed that
Mhm.
part of my life.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I look back and I see some of the journeys I had to take and the path. We talk about faith, and you guys know my faith is much stronger now, but for a long period my faith was broken because of things that now I know I shouldn't have been punished for
Sure.
by that part, as we've discussed. But it was just pain after pain after pain. And because I couldn't heal anything fast enough, I just got so lost for so long. And I kept thinking it was because I wasn't meant to be in this family or I wasn't meant to be in this, when it all stemmed from the beginning result. And then as I grew up and I found myself, I found forgiveness in people that had hurt me, forgiveness in Chris. I found self-worth in myself.
Mhm.
I realized how important and beautiful my talents were. And that was all a stem from my parents fighting for me on their path. And I've said this to you and I've said this to you guys on the other night, that as I've gotten older, I've realized how blessed I was and am to have my mom and dad, the two people that make my mom and dad, because there's a different form of grace, empathy, and love for them now, because I see being parents, living through that journey. Yes. What did I say to you and dad last night? That our paths are different. Yes, I was the victim. I'm the one that you'll never know to a point of what I felt, but I will never know as a parent,
Sure.
at least now.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know if God's bestowing a child on us, but I don't think it's the right lifestyle for me right now. But as a parent, I've said to them, I will never truly ever be able to live or walk that feeling. But what I can say now is I look in the mirror and I am so proud of myself. And I say that because I've had friends that have committed suicide over sexual assault. I've had friends that have gone to prison for years and years because of horrible crime. And we see those people and we forget that they were a victim at one point. And we then forget their empathy.
And a lot of the struggles, too, is what.
And
This alone is enough for anybody to go crazy.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
then we had a new marriage. We had bills. I started my own business. All that. Then you had this as a side.
Sure.
And it was like, we're trying to figure out life on our own. Plus, we have this crazy. When Derek was in his prime, he was out of control.
And I look back and I used to hold so much shame for getting in trouble in that. And now I don't. I hold no shame. Me and you've talked about this. I said in the first episode, I think I love my mom and dad more now and differently than I ever did before, because once I got my life on the track that I needed to, and I stopped letting this incident and all the other incidents take control over my life, I was able to see a whole different perspective of life.
Sure.
Right? And because I was able to forgive and love myself, I was able to forgive and love anybody else that I knew loved me, because I realized that we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And how can I ask people to support and lift me up if I can't do the same for somebody else? So it was a separate journey that I had to take. But I think for my parents, what I'm happy is it took us almost 20 years for my parents to figure out how to get my path in the woods back to their path. So we were on the same path together. And that path separated the day I came out and told my family about Chris. And it took 20 years, I feel, for that path to regenerate together, which is why it's a slow process. But I think for me, to answer your final question, Jen, though, is just stick with each other and believe in each other, and know that it's not going to be easy, and understand that things will be said, mistakes will be made, because trauma can be so severe that it doesn't matter how much money you have. Trauma and pain and sexual assault does not discriminate. So when it comes to whether you're poor, you're rich, you're white, you're black, you are gay, you are straight, trauma, it devastates you and your family the same way. And there's nothing, the only thing that can heal that is courage and standing with one another, even at the hardest. Because as we've learned, it doesn't matter the counselor, psychologist, the money that's spent. If the unit is not together and support, that is what will help your child get through that. And you're not always going to be perfect as a parent in this endeavor. And you will make mistakes. I promise you.
Sure.
There is not, the best of the parent will make mistakes, because no human knows this territory until you've walked it. There is no book. There's no, there's nothing that can train you to prepare for if this would happen, right? To you. And because of that, that's where I've said this to you, where I admire you, Mom, and you, Dad, because this is not easy at all. And this is a journey that we will deal with for the rest of our lives.
Sure.
And it will be conversations that will be up. So I want to thank you two, too, for being vulnerable, because this is hard and it's deep. And for you two to have done part one here with us, I just want to tell you how much I love you two and how much this means to me. And that I hope maybe that you guys being a part of this, maybe you'll walk away feeling like somebody out there that watches this, that healing, telling your story for the first time like this, do you feel like any relief? A little bit? Do you feel a little peace today after talking about everything?
I have so much.
Dad?
I have so much.
You know my personality.
I know.
I don't.
Have you been able to forgive him, Dad?
To Chris?
Yeah.
Well, I plant him in the ground up.
Okay. Like the Walmart trip. That's a whole different story for a different day, guys. Jen, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Do you have anything else you'd like to ask?
If you have any final thoughts to other parents who are potentially going through this, any advice for them?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
go first.
You go first.
What I'm going to say is to believe your child. If they come to you and they say, Uncle Joey, touched me and I didn't like it, don't brush it off. explore. Okay, well, why? What did Uncle Joey? Believe your kids.
Yeah.
Don't dismiss them, especially if they're 5 years old
Yeah.
and they say something like that. Educate your kids. Educate them that those monsters that you think that are the ones under your bed, they're not.
Mhm.
They're people.
They're not. They're people.
Yeah.
They're people that look like us.
Yeah.
Or could be in our family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the grandpa, it's grandma, it's brother, sister, cousin. Derek's case, cousin.
It's your partner.
It's your partner. It's your
Yeah.
husband, wife. I mean, it is 99% of the time.
Statistically,
I'm
it
gonna
is
say
close to you.
it is somebody that you trust and you're close to.
Yes.
Okay. So don't be in that denial either. But because it's like, oh, my husband would never do that. Yeah, maybe your husband would.
Yeah.
Or maybe your mother or your son or, so you need to immediately protect them
Yeah.
and pull whoever it is that they say that did this. Don't let them near until you figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't bury your head. You need to explore and reach out to people that that you can trust
And you're
and
fight.
that that are going to be there and fight for your kid.
Yeah.
Fight tooth and nail.
And I feel too, when it comes to the justice system, just real quick, when it comes to the word fighting, if your heart and your mind tells you that this is not enough, ask for more.
Absolutely.
Allison, I don't, out of privacy for her and her job, a dear friend of ours who works in law has said several times that, there's always help and it's always there and it's always to be provided. And you won't always get the perfect public defender, the perfect DA, the perfect individual, the perfect psychologist. If you're not feeling it, just keep fighting for it. I know that we got another episode to do, Dad, please,
what's your advice?
Tune in. What do you
parents?
feel as a dad, as a father?
I think basically what she said, but once it comes out, when you get involved in these, what do you call them?
The system.
The system.
Yeah, you're in the system.
Do your homework on the system.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you got someone that, like this DA and Butler Chief, wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
You have to check those people out because not everybody's going to do their job.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And the way this country is today, you have to double check everything that you're told.
Yes,
because
it's true.
You don't know
It's true.
if they're telling you the truth or what.
Yeah.
So you have to really be careful about who's guiding you because once you get guided the wrong way, it becomes
be
a long
permanent.
It's
hard road.
hard because you're also in that emotion.
Yeah.
You're
and
not
to
just
top
always
on
going
that,
to
to seek out people that have been through this.
Yes.
I am anybody that wants to talk to me. I am more than willing to talk to them.
And I appreciate you
to help-
offering that because we
to help
have had
them.
people reach out.
And we have
after
an
episodes.
email,
help
guys,
them.
too. So real quick, since you just brought that up,
Yeah.
and viewers that will be watching, please reach us out at Jen. Is it Jen or Jennifer?
Jennifer
at bothsidesofthefence.net. Or you could go to info@bothsidesofthefence.net or Derek at bothsidesofthefence.net. And you have any questions for me, Jen, or my parents, I'm sure. Please don't
Absolutely.
hesitate to reach out. We'll get it to them and we'll get a response for you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Because it's and people are not alone
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know it goes on. It
and
goes
unfortunately,
on every
it'll be
day.
around. This
will.
will be a problem
will.
forever.
And
Yes.
it is horrible to be in that position.
Yeah.
You know, but people are not alone.
And we could
know,
talk
and-
about this honestly for hours because there's
I
so
got
much
so
we
much.
haven't even
Yeah.
touched on. But
absolutely.
we got another episode.
Absolutely.
We wanted, I could keep my parents here forever, guys, but they got things to do too. So I personally, before Jen closes us out today for this, I just want to tell you both how much I love you and thank you for being here. And I hope that when you leave today, you just get to, I hope this helped us heal a little bit more.
And we
Yeah.
love you too.
Yeah.
Very proud
I know
of
you do.
Very proud of you.
Jen,
Thank you guys
You got
for
anything else?
Thanks.
coming on and sharing your
Oh,
story and
thanks.
being so candid and honest about it. I know it can't have been easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just want to thank all of you for joining us and thank our lovely guests today. And please do tune in for our next episode because they're going to stay and talk about a completely kind of different subject.
Yay.
But this has been Both Sides of the Fence. Please like, share our episodes. You can find us on all podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Welcome to Both Sides of the
Bye.
Fence.
See you then.
Bye.